All right, welcome everybody to Families Love Plexus. I'm Marla Stegman and I'm a Blessed Emerald Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. I started taking the products in March of 2019, and then in July, the end of July of 2019, I decided to start sharing what the products did for my health. From there, it took off into just many people jumping on, and now we have just a blessed team of awesome people. And then also in North Dakota, we've kind of networked with other teams that aren't even on our team. Two gals here tonight aren't on our team, but they live in Fargo, North Dakota, so they're on here also. And we just decided to have a Families Love Plexus because a lot of us start and then share with our families first. And that's who gets us started. And it just kind of goes from there. We, most of us on here, I believe, did not plan on having a business. We wanted to get healthy. And now we are just advocates of educating others about gut health, blood sugar stability, and inflammation control. Plus we have Consciously Clean skincare and a kids line also that addresses the gut microbiome. And then our skincare is European approved, that helps our skin microbiome. So pretty amazing. We all are independent ambassadors, and we all have individual, unique stories of our health. We don't claim to cure, treat, or prevent any diseases, but each of our stories you're going to find is very different. There's always going to be a wide array of stories because gut health addresses a lot in our health. So I'm going to pass it off to Alicia. She's here, and her daughter is also on. So I think Alicia's going to start, and
yes,
we'll listen.
My name is Alicia, and I have been with Plexus for almost 4 years now. And actually, my daughter's been taking the products longer than I have. She's the reason why I even looked into the products. I had seen Marla and some other friends sharing about this pink drink that was supposed to help with blood sugars, and my daughter is a type 1 diabetic, and I thought, okay, what diabetic doesn't want better blood sugar control? It is a high maintenance disease that you're always worrying about that. It's just always a struggle and juggling. So that's kind of why I started. I was always kind of a supplement snob. I didn't believe in vitamins, anything. We didn't take anything. And so when my daughter started, we were skeptical, but we thought, what the heck, we'll give it a shot. So she started with a triplex combo, which is slim, probiotics, and a magnesium supplement. And when she had her 3-month checkup, her A1C had gone down, her cholesterol had gone down, her acne was improving, and I'll let her talk a little bit more about her story, but that's kind of what sold me on the products. I thought, okay, they're obviously working. And later, it took me a few months, but I decided, you know what, I should give these a shot, just see what they can do for me. I didn't really have any health issues, but I thought, I'm going to try them and see what they do. And I started in October. And by the end of that month, I was noticing that I wasn't running to the pop machine at work for my Diet Coke. I was no longer craving that. I was actually craving water. And at the end of October, Halloween, I used to put my kids to bed and I'd go through their candy stash and I'd take out all their chocolate. And I realized that night, I'm like, I don't even care about sugar or chocolate or any of that. So I noticed that my cravings had decreased, which was pretty awesome. And I also noticed that my energy during my workouts was better. Little did I know I would end up pregnant a couple months after I started the products. And I decided to stay on them. My OB approved them to continue while I was pregnant, and I had an awesome pregnancy. Jack was baby number 5, and I had like really no cravings. My swelling, usually you get pretty inflamed and your fingers swell up and your ankles and your toes. I didn't have that. I could wear my wedding ring pretty much to the end. Let's see what else. I didn't struggle with like constipation, gas, bloating, all that fun stuff that you usually experience in pregnancy. I didn't have any of that. And another big thing I noticed was I had really bad pelvic pain my last couple of pregnancies, and I didn't really have that. I would get it temporarily after I had worked out, which I knew I had probably pushed myself a little too hard because I had the energy and I wanted to keep working out. But that pelvic pain would go away, which it never did before. It would get to the point where I could hardly walk. So that was a huge blessing. Limited weight gain. What else? I slept awesome. I didn't get Charlie horses. So just like so many blessings that I just did not expect, and continued to take them after my pregnancy. Had a really great postpartum. Jack's super healthy. He obviously got some of that while I was taking it. And this all started my research in gut health because I wanted to know, why do these products help with so many different issues? And what I realized was that gut health is related to every single health issue that we struggle with. And I just started going to the public library and checking out every book that had to deal with gut health. And I realized, like, holy cow, my whole family needs to be on this stuff. And we kind of changed the way we eat. We cut out a lot of processed food. I realized, my kids needed probiotics. They needed a high quality vitamin, and the stuff in the store was not really high quality. And so when Plexus came out with the kids chewable, which includes vitamins and probiotics, we were taking vitamins and probiotics before that, but when that came out, I was so excited because I was going to save so much money. Because if you go to natural grocers and you look at kids vitamins and kids probiotics, those add up, and I have 4 children that are on them. So my kids no longer experience like random tummy aches where they would come to me and say, my stomach hurts, and you just don't know why. My kids rarely ever have that issue anymore. They're healthier. They rarely get sick. They might get the common cold, but the symptoms are not as severe and they don't last as long. I'm proud to say that my 2 youngest boys, they have never been on any pharmaceutical. They've never been on any antibiotics or nebulizers or any of those things that my girls were on, I swear, all the time. I was constantly bringing them to the clinic for ear infections, bronchitis, those type of things. So we're definitely all healthier because we are addressing our gut health. And constipation is another big thing for all of us that we no longer struggle with. So that's kind of about it. And I will let my daughter Mariah kind of talk about what she's experienced with these products. Are you on, Mariah? You might have to unmute.
Yes.
Oh, she made it. I saw that you. You're in Maine, right?
South Carolina.
Oh, Carolina. I knew you were.
Yeah.
Well, glad you got on, Mariah. Okay.
Yeah. Hi. So yeah, I'm Alicia's daughter. My name's Mariah. I'm 20 years old and I attend the University of North Dakota. I started Plexus about 4 years ago. Like my mom said, I'm kind of the reason she started too. I'm type 1 diabetic. And so that was the first thing that kind of my mom noticed and wanted me to start it. I struggled with constipation, acne, weight. My blood sugars weren't always super good, and my mood wasn't always good. So what I noticed improved since starting is a lower A1C, which is really important as a diabetic. Blood sugars affect everything, like mood and stuff like that. So when my blood sugars aren't good, my body isn't really working right. I've improved my cholesterol, increased my iron levels, so I can donate blood. I have clear skin, like my mom said, which has given me a lot more confidence. And I've also decreased my inflammation, especially in my face. It's a lot slimmer than it used to be. And I've had no infections in over 4 years, which is really good. And I also have regularity and no more bloating. And I also use less insulin, which is helpful in not gaining weight and also saving money. And I also wanted to just mention seeing my friends and family getting help has been really cool, because I was having the same issues as them, and then hearing how much better they've been feeling since starting and trying the products, especially the pink drink. I have a lot of diabetic friends that I met at camp. And since drinking it, they've already noticed like leveled blood sugars and stuff. And that's like affected a ton of other aspects, like their mood and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's so awesome. Thank you, Mariah. Alicia, too, you've shared, so you're a senior gold now, and Mariah's sharing the business, so she's helping friends. It just makes my heart really warm, because when Mariah was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, I was her 4th grade teacher, so it's pretty cool to hear how much this has benefited her. So thank you, Mariah and Alicia. So next we're going to have Melissa Morgan and her daughter, Allie.
Okay. Hi, I'm Melissa, and this is my daughter, Allie. She's my oldest. I have 5 kids. So she's 18, and then they go down to my youngest is 8. And we've always tried to eat healthy. We've always tried to do supplements and, avoid sugar and all that stuff. And I even was aware of gut health and the importance of probiotics ever since she and her sister were little. And we would take those off and on over the years. And the last few years, though, I just felt like we were having more and more health issues, and I couldn't really make sense of it, and was trying to figure out what we could do to get our health back on track. And my friend Andrea, who's going to share in a few minutes, started talking about Plexus, and I would see her posts on Facebook, and I thought, oh, that's great, it's working for her. But I didn't really look closely at it because I thought I already, knew about supplements and stuff. But when I really started to look at what it was and realize it was all about gut health, it really got me interested, and I thought maybe this is what we need to try. So we did a little over a year ago, and some of the things I noticed for myself, I have more energy. I used to live for nap time in the afternoon when I could just be finished homeschooling and let the kids run off to play, and I could lie down on the couch. And I just don't even think about naps anymore. Very rarely do I feel like I need a nap. I also was struggling with anxiety, shortly before starting on the products. I was really feeling just overwhelmed with life, and there wasn't anything going on that was that unusual, just the busy mom life and normal responsibilities, but I just was feeling so overwhelmed and anxious about things, and I thought, I can't keep going on like this. I don't know what to do. And once I got my gut health under control, that just really cleared up, and so I'm really thankful for that. My skin is a lot better. I've always struggled with skin, just acne and stuff, even as an adult. That's a lot better. I also was bloated all the time, and I noticed after a few weeks of being on the products, all of a sudden I woke up one morning and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't feel bloated at all. It was like night and day. It was kind of weird, but exciting. And so that was another thing, just kind of an added bonus for me. My kids, I just really like having them on the products, knowing that they're getting good quality vitamins and omegas and probiotics every day. The more I learn about the Plexus products, the more thankful I am that we're taking them. Just the integrity and the how they go the extra mile to make sure that the ingredients are pure and are high quality and well sourced and all that kind of stuff, and that they're in a form that our bodies can really use, that it just makes a huge difference. One of the things, since we're talking about families and how they've helped our family. One of the things one of my kids was a bedwetter and was way past being the age of that should have been done, but we had tried so many things. We had even been working with a naturopath and taken several products, even probiotics that the naturopath had recommended, and no change. So wetting every night. And almost immediately after we switched to the Probio 5, and I think I was giving BioCleanse at that time too, like we started having dry nights, and then before you knew it, there were more dry nights than wet nights, and then eventually it just totally cleared up. And I didn't realize, but I have read that bedwetting can actually be linked to gut health. So that was really exciting and just interesting that even the stuff we were doing, but they were good quality products we were already using, but they weren't helping. But probably the biggest improvements we've seen have been with Allie. Allie, probably 6 months to a year before we started on the products, we found out that she's dairy intolerant, and she'd been having a lot of struggles, and so that was kind of like, oh, now we know what to work on. So she had cut out dairy very religiously. We had been working with a naturopath. She was taking a good quality probiotic from the naturopath and a separate antifungal and a lot of other things. She was taking a lot of pills. And she still didn't feel well. And so I didn't switch her over right away because I thought she's got working with a naturopath, she's got all this going. And after we started seeing improvements in some of the other family members, I was like, we're just gonna try it. So we switched her over to the Probio 5 and some of the other products. And it wasn't long after. Do you remember what you said to me about your stomach aches?
Like, I suddenly realized I always used to have stomach aches.
She's
that
like,
I didn't even know were there.
yeah, she's like, Mom, I didn't even know I used to have stomach aches until they stopped happening every day. And I was just like, oh, I had no idea that she had been having stomach aches like that all the time. So the stomach aches cleared up, and she still avoids dairy for the most part, but she doesn't have to be nearly as careful. She can have it now and then without it bothering her. She can go to camp for a week and eat unusual foods, which you used to say that if we traveled and stuff, like her stomach just felt off the whole time.
Even before I was off dairy, like,
Yeah,
a long time.
yeah, for a long time she said she would notice that anytime we traveled and she didn't feel well. And now we can travel, we can eat out, we can eat in other people's homes. She's starting college next week, and I'm not worried about her eating in the dining hall all the time. I know that she'll be careful with what she eats, but yet, you know, if she gets some dairy now and then, if she, whatever, it's not going to upset her stomach like it used to. And what were some of the other things that you had noticed?
Other random, well, definitely mood stability, like just can handle life in general. Not tired as much. Like I like to get up early, but I used to have to go to bed like by 9 or 10, or I just couldn't function. Like youth group events, anything like that's a struggle. And now I can stay up a lot later without being exhausted. And when I was younger, my hands always got super dry, especially in the winter or anytime I used soaps from grocery stores or just like
we had to really be careful what kind of
soaps
soap she used because her skin was really sensitive.
And I've been working all this summer using hand sanitizer, cleaners and stuff. My hands are like soft, so definite improvement there too.
Yeah. So those are the main things for us, and we're just thankful to see her just doing so much better, and the rest of us too.
That's awesome. What are you on currently, Melissa? Can you just share what you're taking now?
Right now, I'm taking the X Factor Plus and BioCleanse and the Probio 5. And Allie, What are you doing?
I'm on X Factor, ProBio 5, the Omega, whatever that's called. Yeah, is that everything I'm on?
I can't remember. We kind of do Slim off and on.
Oh yeah,
And
I'm doing some Slim right now.
that's another thing that she commented to me on recently was that with all the move and everything, we've been eating a lot more sugar just because people had been bringing us food and then just eating convenience foods and stuff. And she noticed like she was craving sugar. You know, the more sugar you eat, the more you crave. And then she started using the Slim again, and she said, when I take that, like I can say no to sugar. And so it really does make a difference.
Yeah, I noticed that too. We can thank the chromium in the polynicotinate in the Slim for that. Another thing is Allie, you know, Melissa and Allie, their whole family moved to Wisconsin from Minnesota. So they've been going through a lot this summer. So thank you for being on. And Allie is a little entrepreneur. I have to plug her. I mean, how many people has she started her own piano business, teaching piano lessons? How many students did you teach?
Up to 24 at once.
She's just a go-getter and amazing. So I'm just so happy that you're healthy and you have all this energy, but I know you don't sit still very long. So thank you. Next is Kayla Stremick.
Hello. Okay, so I am Kayla Stremick. Sheila in the green shirt there is my mom. The other Sheila is my sister-in-law, just so we kind of keep that all straight. So I'm a wife. I'm a mom of 2 little kids, 4 and 1. I'm a crazy Plexus gal, and I'm a nurse practitioner by day. So my mom hounded me for probably 3 years to just try Plexus. Just try it. And I kept like, stay at an arm's length. Like, I want nothing to do with it. I was very skeptical. My whole life had been, I mean, like education wise, I had spent 7.5 years learning in nursing school and NP school. And I learned nothing about gut health in any of that training. And so it was a foreign topic to me. And so here we are. So finally, she kind of sent me like a Hail Mary. It was a Christmas break, my last year of NP school. And she's like, can you just watch this video? It was like 9 o'clock at night. It was like diamonds, I think we're talking about, kind of like this, their stories. And my husband was sitting beside me, and he has struggled with like red, scaly, itchy skin, primarily on his hands. That is like steroid creams. It kind of heals. More steroid creams, kind of on and off, never resolved. He has had colonoscopies because of issues. And so one of the diamonds was talking about skin. And he was like, what was that? Like, what? Is that the stuff your mom does? Kind of thing. So he's like, I'm trying it. I'm like, okay. I have had constipation my whole life. I've had 2 ER trips because of constipation. I remember it even from being a little kid, struggling with that. And so I'm like, well, I'm signing up. And so then I had him sign up with me, and we started. And so within the first month, his skin was clear, and we didn't have to use the steroid creams anymore, which was just like, his eyes were popping out of his head. It was just crazy. We didn't have to get them refilled. It was just done deal. I was rather addicted to Dr. Pepper. I had at least one a day, and that just wasn't like on my radar anymore. I didn't crave that. I haven't really drank pop since, and that's been about 3.5 years. So that obviously is good for all of us to get off the pop train. As Americans, of course, we're deficient in a lot of vitamins, minerals. We're all pretty addicted to sugar just because it's in everything. So here we are. It's been 3.5 years. My husband and I both take Triplex. I do X Factor Plus, Mega X, Ease capsules. I drink the lean. I drink active, kind of the gamut. He is just on Triplex with the microbiome Slim. and his skin is perfectly clear. No more needs for colonoscopies, issues with that. I have, of course, the 2 little kids, and my first pregnancy was when I was still no thank you. And so I had gained quite a bit of weight. I was very inflamed. I was like Alicia, my 28th week, I had to take my wedding ring off because it just didn't fit anymore. Very tired, no energy. My second pregnancy, however, I gained 20 less pounds, which is pretty significant during pregnancy. I wore my wedding ring throughout my whole pregnancy, labor and delivery, the whole 9 yards, never had to take it off. It's crazy because pregnancy, you think you're supposed to be miserable. You know, like you're supposed to be tired, you're supposed to not have energy, you're supposed to be constipated, you don't sleep well. And that just was not my experience in my second time around. I felt great, even while chasing a toddler. My children are pretty calm. They've got clear skin. We haven't had any diaper rashes. They're very rarely sick, which is great for all of us because nobody has to miss work for sick kids, or they haven't really been on antibiotics. I think Brooks, I didn't take Plexus with him. I think he's had 2 ear infections. Ricky's a year old and has not had any antibiotics. So it's been great. Here he comes. Okay, hold on, buddy. He calls his poops, when he poops, Plexus poops is what he calls them, because he doesn't struggle, and he's 4, and so a lot of kids his age just have those issues. So it's been great. The business has also blessed us in so many ways. We're exercising regularly. We feel great. So yeah, that's all I really have. Thank you so much for inviting me to share.
Yes, having your mom here, probably should have had her on too. I didn't really click with that until it came on tonight. But as far as business goes, did you think you would be, sharing when you started even? I mean, did that even enter your mind?
No, it did not. And so I've always been very skeptical of this whole, method of sharing. And now it's just, it kind of bothers me deep inside that I didn't share sooner and that I was the way that I was. And that was just my own, I just didn't understand. I just didn't take the time to learn. And so now it's been so fun, like to do this with my mom and my sister-in-law and so many other people that we know. So no, it's been great. And what's better than sharing with the people that you love and watching them feel better? I mean, there's no greater feeling. So
yes. And you're senior Ruby now, right?
Right. Yeah.
Emerald is next. Emerald, she's knocking on Emerald's door, so that'll be happening soon.
Yeah.
And you signed up your sister-in-law, right?
I did. Yep. Okay. And she had taken Plexus before, so she'll tell you all about how that all went as well.
All right. So Sheila, are you ready? Thank you, Kayla.
Hi, everyone. I'm the other Sheila. So my background is also in nursing. I actually worked for a year at Mayo Clinic in the medical ICU, and then I met Sheila's son, Kayla's brother, and moved up to the Fargo area, and I worked in the cardiac ICU. And then about the same time, Kayla and I actually decided to go back to school, and I'm also a nurse practitioner. I work in endocrinology here in Fargo, and so I work with a lot of people with hormonal issues like polycystic ovarian syndrome, hormone replacement therapy, diabetes, and I know I've chatted a little bit with Mariah as well too, and just love her story. And honestly, it's just blood sugar balance is so important, and people just don't realize that gut health is connected to so many things, and I think that's why we have such a passion for it now. But my story actually started about 5-ish years ago. So my mother-in-law, Sheila, had actually asked if I wanted to try the pink drink. And I was like, sure. It was before Michael and I got married, my husband. And so we were both taking it. And I really thought I was a healthy person. Like, I worked out 3 to 5 times a week. I was drinking my water, thought that I was eating pretty healthy. I've always had issues with overeating. But things that I started to notice were that I was sleeping better. My skin was clearing up. I had more energy. I didn't have my kind of like mood swings or outbursts anymore. And so those are some of the things that I started to notice. And I just overall felt better. And so fast forward a little bit, we got married, and we were very, very blessed that we got pregnant about a month after we got married. And I was extremely nervous because I hadn't done my research on the products. And so I actually stopped taking Plexus. And I was so terrified, this seems so silly, to tell my mother-in-law that over the course of our pregnancy, we had about 12 bags of Slim in our pantry. And so we really had a stockpile. And anyways, I had kind of a miserable pregnancy. I was tired. I was sleeping probably 16 to 18 hours a day. And by the way, I just have to say my mother-in-law is a sweetheart. So she's not terrifying. I just struggled with that. But anyways, I was very, very exhausted during my pregnancy. I had a lot of weight gain. I gained about 65 pounds, just pretty miserable, and lots of nausea until about week 24. So then fast forward a little bit, and Kayla had shared with me, I think Miles was around 6 months old, maybe a little bit older than that. And she was just kind of talking about, you know, things a little bit more in the research behind it. So then I started digging into it as well too. And I signed up, I think it was March of 2017, something like that. And the rest is kind of history. But actually, so I started because my milk production was really bad with Miles. You know, I had okay production, but he ate so much. And so it really stressed me out, and it helped me with my milk production and helped me drop that postpartum weight that I was still hanging on to after about 6 to 7 months. I may have a visitor that's coming in here. And so it helped me with all of those things. And this is Miles. He is my 4-year-old, and he actually struggled with a lot of things after he was born. So he had multiple ear infections. He actually was almost deaf in his left ear because of ear infections. He's had 2 sets of tubes. He had that dry, itchy red skin that his Uncle Casey had as well too. And we just struggled with diaper rashes and all sorts of those things that we think are normal baby things. And so when he was about 9 months or so, I started him on the ProBio 5. They didn't have the Kids X Factor yet. And we noticed that his skin started to clear up, and he hasn't had an issue since. And the diaper rashes weren't happening anymore. And he has now been ear infection free for a few years. And he was on, at one point, he was on antibiotics straight for like 3 months. And so it's been a huge blessing in that way. I have been on Plexus ever since. I took it all through my second pregnancy, completely different. Mason was a very healthy baby. Like Kayla had said, he never had any issues with cradle cap or diaper rash. He never had any ear infections. He's never been on an antibiotic. He's 2.5 years old now. Just has been my little go-getter, full of energy, good sleeper, wasn't colicky. This little guy was colicky for about 6 months. So it's really made a huge difference. I take about all of the products that Plexus has. There's not very many that I don't take. I love them all. They're great, and they can just fit into your day very easily. It's definitely changed our life. And the business has been so fun, not only because it actually gives us another avenue to give back. Maybe we give back more to our church, or we can give back more to other people. But it's actually about half my salary of what I make as a nurse practitioner is what I make with Plexus. And it's just so fun to have that blessing to help bless other people as well too. And really it's just fun doing it with your friends. It's, you meet a lot of really awesome people, and there's so many people that I wouldn't know if I wasn't sharing Plexus. And like Kayla said, it's such a great opportunity to just help people feel better and just be their best. So that's a little bit about our story. My husband also takes it too, and has had lots of benefits as well. So, but that's a little bit about us.
Thank you so much. I'm glad that you shared your stopping and starting, because I think that happens quite a bit when people get skeptical. And and being in the medical profession, it's just really proves that, you know, you've done your research. That's why you stand behind it. And we wouldn't have these stories to tell about all this health changes if it wasn't true. So thank you so much for sharing. And you've lost quite a bit of weight too, haven't you? Did you share that?
I've probably lost about only 10 to 15 pounds, but it probably looks like I've lost like 30 to 35 pounds. A lot of it was inflammation. So I've probably lost about 6 to 8 sizes, but about 10 to 15 pounds.
Yeah, because I saw a before and after picture that you had posted, and yeah, it looks like 30 to 35 pounds. So
yeah.
But you said 6 sizes you went down?
Yeah, around 6 to 8 sizes. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. If anyone has any questions too, you can put them in the chat and we can always address them after we're done here. So we want to make it real educational and that you get the most out of this, okay? All right, we have Andrea left.
Hi.
Hello.
Like Marla said, my name's Andrea Erdman and I live in Crookston. I am a wife and mom of 3 little boys and 1 little girl. And the way that Plexus kind of came into my life is I was pregnant and I saw my friend Marla posting about these cool products, and I just thought, you know, I should just see if she has a prenatal. And so I reached out to her and started on the X Factor. At that time, it was just X Factor. There was no X Factor Plus. Now I'm on the X Factor Plus and I love it. Anyway, my OB approved of it. And then eventually I was like looking into the products, and Marla talked to me about gut health, and I didn't know anything about gut health. And so I started taking the Bio Cleanse and the ProBio 5. And I started to notice that I didn't have the horrible heartburn that I had with the previous 2 babies. My first 2 babies I didn't have any Plexus in my life. The last 2 babies I did, and I'll kind of share about that in a little bit. But I noticed that my pregnancy was easier to be regular, which is a huge blessing for any of you who have ever been pregnant. Know that that's not easy. And then I didn't have the heartburn issues, and I had a really happy baby that didn't have the colic, didn't have the horrible candida diaper rash that my second son had, that was miserable to deal with. And my last 2 children that I was on the products with, approved by my OB, like I said, they didn't have any of those issues. They were happy babies with no colic, no anything like that. They were easy peasy little babes. My oldest, as I went on with the products, my oldest son had severe allergies. In the springtime, he would ride his bike and he could not make it 1 block without having to stop. It was just the spring months, and it was every spring. And we finally got him tested, and he was allergic. He had a severe allergy to birch trees. and our neighbor has like 7 birch trees. And so we figured that was not good. So every doctor just told us to take, put him on allergy meds. So I did that, and I just noticed that it changed his mood. I felt it made him irritable. And he was such a mild-tempered little guy. I was kind of heartbroken putting him on allergy meds. And so I started digging and decided I was going to start giving him the ProBio 5, and it really has improved his allergies. He had RSV as a baby. He had ear infections. He had nebulizers. And I just didn't really connect the two. I didn't know that it was gut health related. He has improved so much. He is an athlete and loves sports and plays all the sports all the time, spring, summer, fall, winter, and has no issues breathing or coughing or anything like that. So we are extremely thankful. And that was kind of my why I kept keeping our family on these products. Every child or every person in our family takes the ProBio 5. That has been kind of the biggest game changer for us. Before Plexus, I kind of lived with certain issues that I thought were normal things that you just live with, like being a little bit irregular, and an occasional yeast infection. I thought that was like a normal thing, or just waking up in the middle of the night for no reason. I get woken up by my kids a lot, but when I'm not being woken up, I used to get woken up for no reason, and I didn't really know why I couldn't go back to sleep. I struggled with acne my entire life until age 36, 37. And I just thought those were normal parts of life. And I'm so thankful I have none of those issues anymore. My skin has improved by leaps and bounds. My wrinkles are slowly fading thanks to Joyome and collagen. And yeah, my husband, he was probably the most skeptical of all of us. He was kind of just watching me blow my money on these products. And then he tried the triplex, and he's always had tummy issues, things that would make him have to run to the bathroom or just kind of give him indigestion. And he drinks his Slim every morning. He's a pink drink lifer, so he loves it, and he's benefited a lot from it. And he loves his sugar, so we are sugar beet farmers, so we do have a little bit of sugar in our lives, but he especially loves the sugar, and it really helps him to pass it up when he wants to. So one thing I just noticed the other day, I ran out of Vital Biome. And I was like, who am I? What's going on with my life? The anxiety, I didn't really realize it until I stopped taking it, what I had, the anxiety that I used to have. I started taking it right after my daughter was born a year ago, and I didn't have any of the postpartum blues. Our Vital Biome is a true probiotic, but it has clinically in trials, it's shown to decrease anxiety and stress. And so I started on that when she was born, and I didn't have any of the blues that I had with my some of my other babies. And I quit the other day, and I really noticed. So I'm back on it, and all is good. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, my youngest two have never been on an antibiotic, never been on a over-the-counter stuff. So I'm very thankful that we don't have to deal with any of those things anymore. Anything else that I missed?
No, I think I'm sitting here thinking of, how many family members you have also taking the products. Can you think of any significant story from one of your, I'm putting on the spot, you didn't plan to say this.
Oh, well, my parents have had, they probably wouldn't appreciate this, but they won't watch, toe fungus stuff go away, just being on the ProBio 5, regularity. I have a close relative that had trouble conceiving. She had secondary infertility, and because of the products, she was able to conceive and has a little guy. So
Yes. Yeah, it like I said, it's families love Plexus is so fitting because it ends up just we share with the ones we love first, right? And usually they trust us and get started. So thank you all for sharing. This has been great to hear everybody's stories. You know, like I said at the beginning, our stories are all going to be unique, which you've noticed because gut health does affect everything. And I would believe that most of us started with the triplex, and that is the 3 products of the pink drink. And there are 2 different formulas. There's a hunger control and a microbiome activating. And then the ProBio 5 is our probiotic with digestive enzymes and antifungals. So it has 3 actually missions, not just to seed your good gut bacteria, but also to, you know, take out the bad. And also, you know, the fungus, the stuff that doesn't serve our bodies well, that give us, you know, compromised gut health. The processed foods, the too much sugar, the antibiotics that are necessary sometimes deplete our good gut bacteria. And that's when we start feeling off and things start getting off and our hormones aren't stable. If our blood sugar is not stable, our hormones aren't stable. And then insulin also is affected. So our triplex is just magical because it does addresses the root cause of issues in most symptoms. Our BioCleanse is the other product that's in our triplex, and that is a unique magnesium supplement. It's not like one you can buy off the shelf. It oxygenates your blood along with covers all the magnesium you need, because if you have a compromised gut health, you have compromised magnesium also. So these 3 products are simple to fit into your daily lifestyles and affordable. And they have a beautiful packaging now that they give us. You get a nice little box. I'm going to show it here for you guys. I don't know how many of you received one, but it comes in this box. I should have had it closed, I guess. Here. So like this now when you order the triplex, so you open it up and it has, you know, your choice is slim, and then the ProBio 5 and the BioCleanse fits over here. And there's a little card that tells you a little bit about how to take it, but we do coach you along with usually the sponsor of your sponsor. And then also there's a gut, it says it's a gut feeling. It's a great little booklet that helps educate you a little bit more about the triplex. So right now it's on special this month too for only $89.95 for the 3 products that last a month. And then there is also to be a wholesale ambassador like a Sam's Club or Costco. It's only $9.95 this month, and it's usually $39.95, and that's for the year. And that gives you a replicated website that you can use to share with others. And like I said, usually it's friends and family that we share with first. And then it's just, if you get 3 people that you want to help and help keep them accountable and support them and love on them, you can then usually get your products paid for 1 to 2 months. And then, you know, that's on, if they decide to share with their friends, it just keeps going. So our business plan is very generous, and we don't have to have inventory, which is a blessing. We just can take our products and help others and accidentally build a business like all of us did, because I didn't want to start a business either, and it's grown into that. So I think that's no more questions. So I think that's what we're going to sign off here, unless somebody has a question. But I hope you all learned something from this, and reach out to whoever invited you, and we'll get you kind of find out what your health goals are and get you started, because we have a 60-day money back guarantee, but I truly think it takes at least 90 days of taking these products consistently to figure out, to see, you know, the difference they can make in your life. So thanks for joining us, and have a good night.